we're going to be switching gears. As you know, every so often we would have a guest with us to speak and to share some time with us as well. And today we have with us Miss Joanne Hillhouse, and she's here to speak with us concerning the Wadadli Pen writing competition. Joanne, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for the invite.
All right.
Hello, Joanne. How you doing?
Hi, how you doing, Colin?
I'm not bad. I want to ask you a question. I don't know if you want it now or later.
Well, you can ask me later one if you didn't come in because I'm going to be here.
No, 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 no. I was just trying to wrap my head around this Robert De Niro fathering his seventh child at the 79 years of age thing. But we talk about that afterwards.
Murder. Okay, we gonna leave, no. We're gonna leave a spot for that just before we exit, right? So, so Joanne, um, Wadadli Pen, you mind letting our listeners know what exactly is Wadadli Pen?
Well, I'm a writer, and as a writer growing up in Antigua, I didn't have a lot to nurture and encourage my writing, and so Wadadli Pen is something that I started when I became a published writer as a way of nurturing and showcasing literary arts in Antigua and Barbuda. And our major project, not our only project, but our major project is a writing challenge, which is what we're promoting right now.
Okay, and this writing challenge, what exactly is it? Is it that we just write an essay on a theme, a topic, or what is it?
Well, it was always important to me that it not be about anything but the writing. So it's really write what you want about anything that's in your heart, your spirit, on your mind, on your soul, anything at all that bothering you, anything at all that you wanna. So from fairy tale and fantasy to politics to reality, whatever you want to write about. And it doesn't have to be an essay. It can be a short story. It can be a poem. It can be a song lyrics. It can be text and image, like a graphic novel. It can be anything as long as it's advancing a narrative.
Is there an age limit?
No, this year we're actually opening it up. It used to be Wadadli Youth Pen Prize. Now it's just Wadadli Pen Inc., a non-profit, and it's all ages.
Mm.
Mm.
So how long has Wadadli Pen competition been around?
It was launched in 2004. I just realized that the other day.
Mm.
So that means that both Wadadli Pen and myself getting older. But I'm happy. I'm happy to say that means that it's been around for almost 20 years.
Here,
which
here.
is-
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me ask you a question, Joanne. In terms of writing, do you think young people recognize how important writing is to advancing some of the careers? And do you see the emergence of things such as AI, chat, GTP, and so on coming into play here?
This is why.
Let me tell you. Okay, should I say this on the radio? Look, okay, so
The
Views
views expressed
expressed.
here, right, are not that of the radio station, but that of
no,
us, the
I don't
host.
I don't think it's too
No, no, we have
controversial
to,
that as
give
a
all the credit.
writer, I'm not a fan of AI coming to take my job.
Amen.
So,
Yeah.
the joke I was going to make is that I came of age during the time of like the Terminator movies where the Skynet. So
Yeah.
to me, this is
Oh,
all Skynet.
Lord.
See, Colin?
See me tell you,
See?
Colin?
Oh,
See,
Lord.
Colin?
Okay.
So it's. I mean, right now there's a huge writers' strike happening in the U.S. because of things like this. They're trying to get into the contract protection for the writers' IP not to be exploited by studios, with the writers not benefiting from it. And AI is part of that conversation as well. So I just think, I mean, the soul of the thing is writing has given me a voice
Mhm.
because I was a very shy child. I'm still an introvert as an adult. But on the page, I feel really free to just speak whatever my piece is. And that's something that writing gave me.
Mhm.
I think when we talk about things like youth violence or even youth isolation or feeling like you don't quite fit into the world that you're in, writing or any kind of artistic expression is a way of dealing with that and channeling it and figuring out who you are. And that to me why this thing is so valuable. And if we hand that off to AI or whoever or don't embrace it, then we're shortchanging ourselves.
Mm. No, Wadadli Pen has, well, it's something that I'm a little bit familiar with, and I was so happy to hear you say that you've opened it up from more than just the youths, because I know there were some persons who were
Yeah,
jealous.
we were accused of ageism.
Ages.
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, my question to you is, one, how has COVID affected Wadadli Pen competition, if it
Um.
has at all?
Well, we kept it going during COVID because it's I mean, writing is a solitary thing. People were still able to do it and had more reason to do it. I don't know if you saw how the arts in general thrived during COVID. You realize how valuable it is when you're stuck at home
Mm.
and you have to tune into this DJ to get some music. You have to tune into this art to feel alive and feel so enlivened in some ways. More streaming services thrive during that time because people need things to watch. So, um, as an arts program, I would say Wadadli Pen strive during that time. We did some of our workshops virtually using Zoom because
Mm-hmm.
we also do workshops. In fact, we've only had one sort of in-person Wadadli Pen workshop in that whole time, and we still had the program going. And um, you know, blockages create opportunities sometimes because we became more active in the online space. The YouTube channel, with Wadadli Pen YouTube channel, having recordings and readings of the content online. So it was an opportunity as well to to channel all of this stuff because I don't think we realize what we've been through these past few years. I don't think we've processed it yet.
There's a lot of trauma there.
There's a lot. Well, sometimes even when I see some of the violence, just in the last couple of days, off track a little bit, I saw two youth encounters with police that were baffling to me because the level of
Violence
aggression
that
in
the
terms
police
of
and them were doing.
no, not no. The surprising thing was that the like there was this one little boss man and he was like making his point and he angry and the police is like actually trying to de-escalate the situation like
Mm-hmm.
cool down and he going and I'm like back in my day like for the police presence is the cool down, right?
Yeah.
Because the police represent authority and I feel like we've been inside so long we forget like what was normalized in terms of this is how you act, this is how you all of that kind of we're still trying to figure it out. So this it's not about if this youth man is 9 years old, that means that when we went into lockdown he was about 5 years old.
Mm.
So he was socialized a whole different way from any of us. Um, so his encounters with police right away is going to be different. Actually, I'm surprised I'm saying this. I was actually proud of the police trying to de-escalate the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Very, 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 very
John,
rare
John,
case.
John, I wanted to piggyback on something that you mentioned about writing and introvert and, getting your thoughts out there. With the advent of social media, especially platforms like Facebook, which are geared towards discussion and writing and people putting their thoughts out there, although some of it is crazy sometimes, how much of untapped writers do you see on a regular basis of persons who post online in Antigua?
Well, I'm talking to one of them.
Oh Lord.
Now, so, I mean, actually worry sometimes as a creative that we're giving away too, like, is it hindering the writing that we share so much online? Because the stuff that we would write about in that space, we're now just putting it out. So it's about balancing that. But I think Caribbean people in general, we have a interesting, sometimes dark sense of humor. We have our own way of seeing the world and engaging with the world, and all that comes through in the content that we put out online, that we're giving to Zuckerberg and Musk and them.
Oh wow! So how do we monetize that? In other words, how do we put people who are prolific, posters who have great following? How do you get that in a way that they can be monetized, especially among young people? What do you think?
I'm actually still trying to figure that out. I'm a working writer, independent writer. I blog. In addition to being on social media, in addition to the writing that I publish in the papers and the writing in my books, and I'm still navigating how do you monetize this as opposed to just giving it away for free. And I don't have a full answer on that. I do know that it's important to understand that your work is your copyright, that
Yeah.
nobody owns it unless you explicitly give it to them. And once we understand that, then we're not working against each other in terms of them being able to exploit. Or well, this person is willing to do it for nothing or for free or for whatever. We understand that what we do has value, and I
So
think that mindset is important.
So let's say Nike puts a juicy story online and somebody decides to convert that into film or a short video that's monetized. What happens?
Well, I think if we have enterprising entertainment lawyers in the Caribbean, they could make a precedent-setting case with that, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Because it's
Hmm.
already established that you wrote this, you created this. Somebody takes it, they have to pay you for the story idea at least. That's
Hmm.
how I would see it. I mean, just thinking off the top of my head, it's yours. It's
Hmm.
yours until
Hmm.
you give it away.
Until you give it away.
Funny
Okay,
enough,
great.
funny
That's
enough. No, I was just looking at somebody had said the other day that Instagram, they had all these pictures on Instagram, but then I had to explain to them that the pictures on Instagram they're not yours. It's actually the property of Instagram. So the property of Instagram is also know the property of Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, here's the thing: we have to read the fine print. We
Yeah.
don't.
Do we
we
ever?
don't. We don't. So I can't even say for sure if what you just said is true because I'm guilty of not reading the social media fine print as well.
Yeah,
But I know I don't
found,
put. I know. And anything I'm thinking of monetizing, I don't put it on social media.
yeah.
yeah, because it's really and truly not necessarily yours because it's their platform and all of that. Yeah.
But I don't think
But
that, anyway, I remember hearing something like that as far as Facebook was concerned, and that was in the
hmm.
early days when I used to do my poetry as notes on Facebook. And after I heard that, I just kind of stopped, and then I went into blogging,
Right.
following in John's footsteps, and I posted my stuff on the blogs. But then after a while, I discontinued that as well, you know, because again, we're supposed to read the fine prints, but
Mhm.
Lord,
Hmm.
them fine prints kind of fine.
Yeah, that's deliberate, right?
So
But
So, so John, we have a few. What we do in the review as well, we get your part of the program so you can comment too. And we normally tell our listeners of some of the things that are out there. And why I'm bringing this up is because you're a writer. So we have movies like Sisu, we have the new season of Foundation, we have Renfield with that, what's his name? I forgot the actor's name now.
Hmm.
Um, we have the Power book series out that people are enjoying. In other words, bring it for us home in terms of letting people understand that writers are the one that actually put a lot of this script together for the things that we watch and enjoy.
yeah, I was just thinking about what Glenn said about blogging, like his poetry and so on. That if like you can workshops. I've workshop stuff in spaces online, but I would never post a finished poem that I'm planning to sell somewhere else online. Because once it's published online, it's published, and most journals or publishers are not going to accept it as. Actually had a situation recently where I had to take down something I put on my YouTube channel that my agent was like, "Hey, maybe we could sell this." And I was like, "Oh shoot, okay." Put it because I was just, so. I'm in answer to your question. The story I'm thinking of, I can't remember the name of the movie, but there was a movie. All of you know it was an Instagram story about a prostitute who was almost caught up in like a human trafficking thing. Like she went out of state with another dancer.
Yeah, left from California.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was,
Mm.
yeah. Come to think of it, I saw that.
Mm.
Yeah, and she kind of documented the whole thing through Instagram story, and that has since become a movie,
Mhm.
right? A movie that was in the conversation for Independent Spirit Awards, Academy Awards. So, and that was just her telling her story. But then now she's been able to sell that story to a studio, and using Instagram story, I think, as opposed to um, just posting it on regular Instagram meant that it was kind of a bit more ephemeral, like it wasn't there permanently,
Hmm.
so that
Mhm.
she was able to then people remember it, but nobody can go back and pull it and take it and own it.
Well,
So
John, it sounds as if we need to call you back, invite you back to have an actual writing discussion. But to tie things back to Wadadli Pen, there was something that I saw. It says, "Keep it Caribbean." What does that mean?
okay.
I have
So
to ask. I have to
I
ask.
know,
Keep it
I know, I know,
Caribbean.
I know. Okay, so here's the thing. Growing up in the Caribbean, maybe less so now than then, but I don't think so. Because I mean, whether it's books or video games or movies or TV, we still consume a lot of content from outside of ourselves, from America, from the U.S. mostly, and to some extent from the UK and Europe. And what happens is that you tend to center stories outside of yourselves. A lot of writers will tell you from the Caribbean that when they first started writing, they were writing stories about other people. I see it in Wadadli Pen. I see, oh, she had fair hair and this skin and that green eyes and whatever, things that don't really reflect you. So the idea is to kind of rewire our brain to think of ourselves as the center of the story, to think of ourselves as where the story starts. And that doesn't mean that you have to write a stereotypical, cliche Caribbean story. In fact, we would prefer if you didn't. You can write any kind of genre. You can set it in outer space. You can set it in a parallel universe. You can set it in a future reality. But the idea is that imaginatively, psychically, center your Caribbeanness.
So by traditional stories, I guess you're talking about going on the farm with Farmer Brown, picking mango and running by the stream.
With nothing wrong with that. That's part of the experience too. But if you're writing that thinking this is what they mean by Caribbean story, then you're already off to a wrong start. But if you're writing that as an authentic, fun memory or experience, imagination for you, you can make that interesting as well.
So a Caribbean story right now is basically just telling life as you see it.
Yes.
Here,
Yes.
with our people,
Yes.
as you've experienced
Life as
it.
you see it, but also life as you imagine it.
As you imagine it.
Because I find that we don't realize how much in the speculative space, because think about the stories we grew up on, the Jumbi stories, the Anansi stories. All of these are speculative stories. What I mean by speculative is them really, really make up. They're like a spider that can talk, right? A jobless, a sukuya that strip off her skin and fly at night and suck babies' blood.
Lord of mercy, John, I want me sleep tonight. Right.
These were the stories we grew up on, and then we start to write, and we write about the corn that we touch. Like, we write about the specific thing that we touch, and again, nothing wrong with that, but it seems as though we don't realize that we can write those type of stories as well. A Nancy in the future, a Nancy in the past. What if Storm, my favorite X-Men, what if she was, what if she was, she had a Caribbean cousin who had powers like her, like all kinds of possibilities.
True.
All kinds of possibilities. And I'm saying, unleash your mind from what you think a story have to be, and let your true, like let your freak flag fly in terms of your storytelling, but keep it Caribbean.
All right. Now, if I want to jump into this competition, how would I do that?
Okay, so you have to email your submission to wadadlipen@gmail.com. The information in terms of how to prepare your submission is all on the Wadadli Pen blog, wadadlipen.wordpress.com. If you can't remember all of that, just Google Wadadli Pen and it will take you there. 500 word limit. That don't mean that you have to write 500 words. It means that you can't write more than 500 words and submit by May 31st.
So suppose the story, like the climax of the story, is in the last 50 words.
Edit it.
Yeah. That's the answer right there.
So you're not going to read surpass the 500.
No, I'm not. No, this year let me tell you, I've given so much grace. I've accepted entries after the deadline. I've let people go on for 1,000 words and more. No, this time, be disciplined. You can tell the story in the time frame we've given.
And it forces the writer to actually, exercise that
muscle.
That muscle.
Part of writing is editing. Point blank, period.
And what if I would like to be a sponsor?
Oh,
provide
welcome. Same thing. Reach out to wadadlipen@gmail.com. There's a patrons page on the blog as well. We accept cash. We accept kind. And kind can be gifts, but kind can also be time, because we also need volunteers and interns. And if you have some skill set that can improve a writer's exploration of the world, say you are we're talking the business of writing this. So say you're an entertainment lawyer and you're like, well, I want to help writers understand contract law in terms of that's my contribution to Wadadli Pen. And you say, I'm going to host a seminar, or I want to mentor someone. That's a gift that we can give as well. So it's anything that you think you can give.
All right. Well, so ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, Joan Hillhouse from Wadadli Pen. But Joan, you can't just leave just yet, because our boss man here drop off a question kind of early about what name again?
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro and his 10th picnic. Seven. Oh Lord, may give the man more picnic than you.
79.
79 years old.
79. Thoughts, Joan?
What's the question?
What are your thoughts?
I'm not going to answer open-ended question on that. What's the question?
Do you think it's outlandish for him to be 79, still fathering children at 79?
Abraham was blessing the earth.
Do you
still,
think?
you know.
Do you think that the it's an okay thing for him to do? It's even if he wasn't rich.
I think that you should be able to give at least 18 years. Can you give 18 years at 79? I think you should have children as long as you're able to take care of them and that's what you want to do. But I do think I would not be having a kid at 79, even if I could, because the clock is ticking at that point.
Hmm.
But it doesn't mean that he shouldn't or he should, but I'm just thinking about the things. Even when they're 18, they still need so much guidance
Yeah.
and help and so on. So the idea of being there, not being there for them would deter me.
So question, go ahead, Glenn.
Oh, I was just gonna say, my final question to you is, sorry if it's an open-ended question again, but what are your thoughts on Harry and Meghan? Little brush with the paparazzi.
I actually did not read that. I just saw the headlines and I was like, nope, nope. I don't have the time. I don't have the bandwidth. I didn't read it. I know. I'm actually fascinated by the interest that Caribbean people have shown
Still.
in the royal theater, the royal soap operas. How many people watched the inauguration there? I mean, Meghan is the most interesting that's happened to that family in a while. Interesting thing. The only thing I want to hear about the royals is when we remove them from our money, that kind of stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
we can't
so
let Meghan
Joanne, who you got?
Fox-
Tien or Ricardo Drew at the face-off?
Claudette.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, you had to expect that, right?
Beckham, she just hit me on Beckham.
Well, I can see. Oh boy.
Joanne, since here on the review we tend to watch a lot of movies and shows and stuff like that. Real quick, is there anything that you're looking forward to or that you would like to see that's coming up?
Oh my God, my brain just went blank. What's coming up? Tell me some stuff that's coming up.
Well,
Power book, CD, that's out now.
Power.
No.
Yeah, Power.
No, that's not
The show Power.
The show.
Okay.
What's coming up? No.
What's it called? The Creator is coming out.
I'm waiting for the new.
Hunger
I'm,
Games?
I'm waiting for the new Old Guard movie sequel. I'm waiting for the Interview with the Vampire.
I don't think that's coming out.
Interview. Don't say it. Don't say
No,
it.
it
No,
is
not
coming out.
interview. Not interview.
I
Oh
know,
God.
I
God,
don't-
it
don't
is
say
coming
it.
out. It is
Don't
coming
say it.
out.
It's coming out.
Well,
I saw
Yeah,
some news.
yeah,
that
they-
I saw some news that it might
Yeah,
be
it's a
delayed.
coming out. It's coming
But
out.
so I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for the second season of Interview with the Vampire. What else am I waiting for?
What about Foundation? You've been following Foundation?
I don't know which one was Foundation.
It's a sci-fi story.
No.
No? Oh,
No.
I watch Sisu.
I'm actually right now. The only thing I'm watching Station 11. So I'm a little bit behind on that because I just finished reading the book. And
Station 11.
yeah.
Yeah, this one is nice.
Aye.
White men can't jump 2023 is out.
It is.
I think that should have went straight to video, honestly. But I did say I was gonna go home. It was actually on my list of movies for this weekend. So this is on.
And Fast
It's on now,
is
too. Huh? Pardon?
Fast X with Vin Diesel.
That's gonna have to be like a really really last minute watch for me. I mean, how many times can you see Vin Diesel go to like gear
Well,
19?
they're still
Infinite.
making money for somehow.
Infinite.
Yeah.
Joanne, I think there's a show that I have on the list here that I think you might enjoy. It's called Chevalier. That'll be
Oh.
coming out in a few months' time.
Oh,
the black violin. Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen that. I've seen the trailers and so on for that.
Yeah.
It looks interesting.
No, the light skin dude.
But Station 11, it's set. You know Station 11?
No, I just
It's-
put it down.
It's set in a possible future. It's one of those a virus ended the world type of stories. But in my opinion, the best because it centers the arts because the future is filled with like this traveling band of Shakespeare performers and they travel to
Minstrels.
yeah. But basically, it's like the world stopped and some people were in this part, that people were just scattered and a lot of people died and technology went away and everything is starting over and it's,
Wow.
yeah.
But definitely check out Foundation.
Oh.
I believe you'll absolutely enjoy it.
All right, cool.
Well, is that all time?
On a good 5 minutes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this week. We know Colin has been home, but I'm sure, I have faith that he'll be back with us next week. Joanne, thank you for being our guest
Thank you.
today, and we would like to extend an invitation, if you don't mind, to come back to speak more on writing. I know there's a lot there.
I will, and I'll prepare better for the TV movie questions next
TV
time.
movie. All right. Colin, Naik, is there anything else you guys want to add?
I just want everyone to know that they can listen to us every Saturday afternoon, 3 to 5 p.m. on WTP Radio 93.5, 93.7 for those out in 269, Old Road and so. Yeah.
Right. I would just say everybody just be safe. I mean, we grew up in a country that we were accustomed to leave our doors unlocked while we went to bed. That may still be the case in some instances. However, it doesn't hurt to just be a bit more vigilant. So
Yeah.
if you're going to have fun, park someplace that's well lit. Let someone know where you're going at all times. If you're doing some exercises, if possible, do it in twos or threes. And if you're going to have a nice time and you're taking photos, just wait until you get
Wait
back
until you
home
get
to
home to
post.
post your pictures as
The
opposed to
pictures
doing it
in it.
live from the
Yeah.
from the
Yeah,
flat.
yeah. It's
Please,
just taking a
please.
precaution because, fortunately, things are happening and we just have to be mindful. That's all. But that's it for me, Glenn and Ike.
Hey.
All right. And with that, y'all have a blessed weekend and see y'all next week.
All right, later.